even though we don't use the word tanking in the NFL, it feels like some teams are tanking. Would you say that's fair assessment of, are the Giants tanking, Raiders tanking? Who else do you throw in there that we might use that word?
I mean, I think the Giants and Raiders, it's fair to say to some degree they are, just in that I think they're being honest with themselves about where their rosters are. And part of the reason why the Raiders trade Khalil Mack and trade Amari Cooper is because John Gruden doesn't think they're going to be any good for another couple of years. And so, he was honest with himself about that. I asked the question, are those guys still going to be around when we're getting good? And the answer was no. The Giants hadn't been honest with themselves about their roster, which is why they drafted a running back second overall and go and overspend for a left tackle. I think now they are being honest with themselves, and that makes them sellers. So you are going to see names like Janoris Jenkins and Landon Collins out there over the next 12 hours or so. And I think outside of those two, I think one of the things that prevents, say a Tampa or an Arizona from really, being in that category where you say they're tanking is that there are guys there whose jobs are on the line. Steve Keim is a guy in Arizona who I think did a really, really good job out of the box when he became GM about 6 or 7 years ago. Has been in a little bit of a slump lately. And so, is he going to be motivated to sell off pieces now based on the fact that he might be fighting for his job and the roster has to show promise over the last half of the season? The other one, Tampa, and I think if you were looking at Tampa rationally, you'd say maybe they'd be a seller. The problem is that Jason Light and Dirk Cutter are fighting for their jobs. And so, I think there are a couple of teams that are legitimately stripping down, and Oakland and the Giants would be in that category. But there are other teams you look at and you say they're bad, they should be selling, where there are GMs or coaches or both fighting for their jobs. And so, that would make them a little less motivated to aggressively sell off pieces, again, before 4 o'clock today.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.